Alright, good afternoon. We're going to make dough for pizza. So our ingredients are, I use Fleischmann's Rapid Rise yeast, 7 cups of water, hot tap water, not boiling water. We have 1 egg. I got some Italian herbs with oregano and different things in there. I got some salt and we got some sugar. We got flour. I'm going to use about 7 pounds of flour. And that's pretty much it. So we take about most of the water. We're going to throw it in the mixer. If you have a mixer, it's great. If you don't, you're going to have to do it by hand. We're also going to take the yeast. We're going to dump it in there. The hot water is going to help the yeast mix up. We're going to throw about 1.5 to 2 tablespoons of salt and about 2 tablespoons of sugar. We're going to dump the egg and the Italian herbs into the hot water. We're going to turn it on. So we're going to stop mixing it. At this point, I'm going to add some olive oil into the mix. We're going to add about maybe a good 5 tablespoons of oil, and we're going to keep mixing it over again. And as you can see, after a while, as the hot water mixes, you can see the bubbles starting to happen. That's a chemical reaction between the yeast and the hot water. When you start seeing bubbles, it's a good time to start making the dough, and that's when you add the flour. So, all right, now we have a 5-pound bag. In this case, I'm using King Arthur flour. There's really no specific on what kind of brand you should use, but I just use this one because I like it. So as we we're going to start adding some flour in there. You got to use speed 1. If you use speed 2, it's going to start looking like you're making something else other than dough. And you slowly mix it. You see, right now we have a speed 1. As you see, the more flour you add into the mix, the more consistency is going to start to have. And remember to use speed 1, or otherwise this is just going to fly all over the place. Alright, as you can see, pretty much the consistency, you can tell it needs more flour, so you add more flour. I had it on speed 2 because there was no more flour. I go back to speed 1. So as you can see, right now we use 5 cups of water. We're going to use a total of 6. So far you can see the flour starting to build into a dough, but there's still more water than needed, so we're going to have to add more flour to the mix. Don't want to add too much because, again, you don't want to have too much flour flying all over your house. And as you see, as the flour starts becoming a piece of dough, then you start adding more. Alright, so I can tell that it's starting to get a little bit doughy, so I'm going to add more flour to the mix. just a little bit extra water just to help it out. You just have to be patient because you don't want to have too much water and you don't want to have too much flour. You just want to have the right mixture. As you can see, it's starting to become one between the dough and the flour and the water. You know you have it right when the dough cleans out the inside of the bowl. Right now it's still kind of sticky because we're still short of flour. So I'm going to continue to add a little bit more flour. Don't be too aggressive because it's just going to spit it all out. Like I said, you have to be patient. As you can see at the bottom, it's still sticky. It's not becoming one, so it needs more flour. So we're just going to add more flour and help it. Eventually you will use all 7 pounds of flour. Pretty much at this point, I'm almost done adding the whole 5 pounds of flour. As you can see, it's still very sticky, so it's not really ready yet. Remember, speed 1. If you do any faster, it's just going to spit all the flour out of there. As you can see, the dough is not sticking inside the bowl. It's becoming all one. It's cleaning out the inside of the bowl, and that's exactly how you want to see it. The consistency of the flour is almost there. So we got about 2 pounds left of flour to add. You know when it's ready, when it's pretty much covered in flour and it doesn't take any more flour. And we got just about a little bit more to go. See how I put my finger in there and it doesn't stick anymore? That's how you know you're pretty much where you want to be. That's when you know you're pretty much done with the flour. And that puts us right at about 7 pounds of flour when it's all done. Alright, so once the dough's done, we're going to dump it on the countertop. Now we're going to pretty much roll the dough to get all the air out of it. You fold it in half, fold it back in, and you keep folding it, keep folding it. What you might want to do, see I got some flour here, I'm just going to clean the flour on the counter. Clean it out. You can use your knuckles, punch it all the way in. Now what you want to do is pour some olive oil on the countertop. Make sure you spread it really good and get the dough on there so it doesn't not dry up on us. The same thing. Now that we have the dough all set up like that, we're going to put it in the plastic bag, and we're going to let it sit for about 5 minutes. Alright, so we just took the dough out of the bag. You can see it's a little bit oily, which is what we kind of want, that consistency. So now we're going to cut it in about four pieces. We're going to take we're going to make the dough balls. Dough balls, pretty much you grab maybe about 12 ounces of dough. And what you're going to do, you can do a little bit more. The bigger the dough ball, the bigger the pizzas you're going to have. So pretty much, we're going to make a dough ball. So when you grab this part, you're going to squeeze and push in. And you're going to squeeze and push in. And squeeze and push in. And you keep doing that. And you turn it in quarter turns. Quarter turns. Quarter turns. Until you get all of the air out of the dough. See? You keep pushing in, you keep pushing in, you keep pushing in, and you keep doing that until you get one nice ball. Once you have a nice ball, you can pour a little bit more of olive oil on the surface of your countertop. And what you're going to do is you're going to start turning the ball, and as you turn it, you pinch it and you close it even more. You grab and you close, you grab and you close. See? To make a nice sealed ball. As you turn it, you squeeze it. You turn, you squeeze. Once it's all done, there's your dough ball. And then you're going to add a little bit of oil into one of these deals here. You're going to get the dough very nicely oiled up. And you're going to close it up. Alright, we've finished making our dough balls. As you can see, they're pretty much, each one is independent, a little bit of oil on them. We want to make them a little bit oily with vegetable oil, just so they don't dry up. And then we're going to put them in the refrigerator for about 5-6 hours. In about 5 or 6 hours, it takes about the yeast to take full effect, and the dough balls should grow about double the size. So make sure you put them in a container to let that, with enough space for them to rise. Once in about 6 hours they fully rise, you can take them out, and then you can put them in a Ziploc bag and throw them in the freezer, or you can start making your pizzas.